Welcome back. We're here at Welker Farms. This is HQ, our shop. This is where all the good stuff happens at, minus all the stuff outside in the fields, but you guys know what I'm talking about. There's been a lot of creations in here. Except for, why is a floor bare? I mean, this time last year we were, elbows deep in that Big Bud 700 we were doing, and yeah, there was a lot going on then. Now it's just a bare floor. That's just not right. So we got to fix that because, well, here's the thing. We're not far out from spring farm work. It's coming quick, and we've got a lot of machinery that needs work done before we can get to that. Otherwise, we're not going to be ready, or we're going to be working on it when we should be in the field farming. So, yes, 9370, Big Bud 525, 600, the 435, the loader, the 4520, the 355 Pete, that's right, I'm saying it wrong, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Anyways, yeah, the big brute. It all started in here, it's crazy. So I think we should, bring one of them back in here and do a little work to it, and that's gonna be Big Brute. Big Brute has seen some better days, it's seen a lot of acres on it. I put a lot of hours on it since we bought it, and it shows there's cracks developing in areas that they need addressed, and before the season starts, because we could lose a boom. You don't want that. People have had that happen. Booms fall off. Yeah, we don't want that. So we're going to fix that. Also, there's a lot of things with the brute that needs fixed before we get to that season. So I'm thinking, if you guys want to join in with me here, we're going to go out that door. We're going to get the big brute fired up. It's a little cold out there, but we'll wake him up, get him out of the building, bring him in here, and start the process. And it's going to be fun. I'm actually really looking forward to getting this done because that's my machine. And it just bugs me seeing issues that need fixed that aren't fixed. So we're going to fix them. Also, today's video is brought to you by AG1. So we'll talk about that soon, but let's get over there. Let's wake the brute up. Let's get to work. I stand on the back of Big Brutes. This is what we're looking at. Originally, before we put the Terrogator frame on here with the tank, and we had the original tank off the S1070 New Holland sprayer, we had the frame of that sprayer attached. You can see all the old weld marks right here. So it went way up high. This whole bracket back here that holds the H frame on all the back end was mounted really solid. But with this frame, because it's a different style or different shape and size, it doesn't go up as high on this, so there's a lot more torquing back and forth on this arm. It hasn't cracked anything down there, but it's been cracking this one, and this plate I put on, it's breaking that out too. So I think what we're doing, because we can't weld anything up here because the tank goes up and over like this. So we can't get any structure from this side down. So we'll still work with here, but I think what we're gonna do is we're just gonna beef this up big time. So we'll cut this plate off, and we're gonna get some heavy iron, cut some triangles, weld them all in real solid on either side, and then put a big strap over the face, wrap it around, weld it up real tight, do the same on both sides. That should eliminate our cracking. Do have a whole pile of expensive electronics back here. I do not like welding around that stuff. I might unplug a couple things. Theoretically, with the battery disconnected, shouldn't get voltage into that stuff, so it shouldn't happen. It's still nerve-wracking. So we'll do that, get that taken care of. I've got some plumbing things I gotta do. And then I've got a seal and transmission I gotta replace, output shaft seal. I've got some things in the cab I gotta do. Yeah, I had some cracking on these arms up here that we built to hold the booms, the cradle, and I welded these on here, and I did not do a good enough job. I need to redo this. So I'll be cutting those off and welding those back on. So fun. Let's get to it. let's take a look here, see what we got. Yeah, I'd say that's boxed in pretty good. As you can see, white paint. Yes, that came off one of the other big buds. I think it was the Series 2 77 that we turned into the 700 big bud. I think it was the radiator mount is what it was, but perfect iron for this job, so I'm using it up. But yeah, triangled that, welded all up, underside, inside, all around. Then I plated the side here, went all the way down, 2 passes, all the way up and down to that side. So this should no longer be able to do much twisting like this or forward back. That should be locked into the frame, that whole spray tank assembly. So, good. Now I just got to repeat back over here. Same thing, just triangle and plate it. We'll be done here. And then move on to the next crack that I found. Keep rolling. Whew. Messy workbench. That can only mean one thing. We're getting stuff done. And Dad hasn't come through and cleaned it up because he likes to do that. Or he doesn't like it. He just does it because we won't do it. Oh, yeah. Probably should step up on that. All right, I'll take care of it soon. But you know what? Not now, because I'm going to go take a break. Let's go to the office. I'm going to mix myself up some AG1 drink. Let's go get it. Let's talk about today's video sponsor. Welcome to our shop office. Every shop should have one of these. I'll tell you, there was a time when I grew up, we didn't have this. We didn't have running water. A fridge. Well, oh no, wait, we had a fridge, that's right. I would sneak in there and drink Grandpa's Diet Coke. Oh, Grandpa, he would love this office. Anyways, this is the shop kitchen in our office. And yeah, there was a time we didn't have this, and we also didn't have a bathroom. So 2 major upgrades recommended for a shop. Bathroom, kitchen, and an office computer. But shop office with the kitchen, here's what we can do. Cool things like mix ourselves up some next-gen AG1. So you're probably wondering, what is AG1? AG1 next-gen is a daily health drink that helps support gut health and fills in common nutrient gaps. With 75 plus ingredients and 5 probiotic strains, AG1 replaces the need for a multivitamin, probiotics, and more. And for an extra kick, I like to add a little bit of a AG D3 plus K2, just 2 drops. Vitamin D, immune system support, and then shake her up. Recommend about 15 seconds of this. Or if you have a trampoline nearby and some kids to jump with, that works too. My life is very busy. Between 5 kids, beautiful wife, and a very demanding farm, it's hard to maintain a healthy lifestyle. And it's nice to be able to step aside off from the machinery on the other side of this wall and all the madness that's going on in there. Get in the office, mix up some AG1, drink it, knowing I'm supporting my body, supporting my immune system, while enjoying the drink too, because I do love the taste of this stuff. It is delicious. I drink AG1 Next Gen because it helps keep my body rolling along. And I want to be at my best. Between the antioxidants, the probiotics, and the functional mushrooms, it's just a great combination and a simple drink. Here's to replenishing commonly underconsumed daily micronutrients. So head over to drinkag1.com/welkerfarms or scan the QR code to get an AG1 flavor sampler and a bottle of vitamin D3 plus K2 free in your welcome kit with your first subscription. That's a $72 value. So again, thank you AG1 for sponsoring my video. Let's get back to the brute and keep working. All right, let's take a look. Yeah. I'd say that's pretty well fused together. That should really tie in that arm there. So, I'll show you the next step we got to do. Besides replacing all my rubber mats here I'm ripping up. This I noticed was cracking last year down the side, but the tank was here, so I couldn't get up top here. But you can see how it's pulling away from the arm here. So I put these plates on here. I think that stopped it, but the problem was when I jacked the tank up to put these this corner piece in here, I put it up too high, and the tank rubs on it right there. Same with this side, like a dummy. I didn't think about that. So this side isn't cracking like the other one is, but still, I've got to cut this off, drop it down, and weld it all back up again, because, well, yeah. Let's not talk about it. But that takes the weight of all the booms, and it makes sense. I mean, we built what we had to work with. There wasn't a lot of area to attach the cradle to. The problem is we didn't want to attach to the truck frame. We wanted to attach to the frame of this tank sprayer, so that way this whole thing could come off if you had to. But I don't know, maybe we should have just attached to the frame. Either way, it's worked like 2 seasons, 3 seasons like this, 2 seasons like this, so just got to keep improving on it. All right, I'm up to the next step. That's these that I talked about earlier. I think what I'm gonna do, which Leg Arms recommended, which usually his ideas are the correct way to do it. I'm gonna take the plasma cutter, I'm gonna slice this weld right here. Then I'm gonna take this maul, I'm gonna hit right here, I'm gonna bend this in, and then weld it back up to make it easy. So this weld can stay, yeah, I know, it does mess with it a little bit, but I don't have to bend it much. I only need to go maybe 1/4 inch. So it just hits right here. It doesn't hit down here, just these top corners. So that goes in, re-weld it all up. That'll be nice and strong in. And then I'll figure out how to address this crack here and whether or not to add more iron to this. We'll see. I got the plate to flex in some, but there's a little curl right here. I don't know why it's doing that. I've been pounding right on that spot, but so I'm gonna take the grinder and I'm gonna grind off this little edge right here, then clean up down there, and then re-weld it all back up again. But I probably moved it down to exactly where it needs to be. It's just that little lip right there for some reason. It's not hitting, you can see daylight. So I don't know why it's curling like that, but whatever, we'll grind on it. Got that all welded up nice and neat like. So now I took the grinder, I ground that crack down pretty deep. There's some cabling and some wiring under here, so I don't want to get too hot in there, but I don't think it's going to dribble through. I don't have a big enough opening here, but I'm just going to fill this full of weld, fill all this full of weld here. Weld, let's just weld it. We'll weld it really good. The reason it's cracking there is because this is a seam they did from the factory, Agco. It would be Agco, Terragator, would it be Agco? Anyways, Terragator. They did from the factory way back in the day. It's not an actual rolled edge, it's a welded seam between this plate and that plate. So there clearly just wasn't enough weld there to hold the torque of that arm pulling. Now with this plate here, it's got to really pull hard on all this to flex that down. So it's significantly more, but I can't plate anything on top here because that tank goes all the way up like this. So there's no way to reinforce it how it really should be up here. It's just, and because we've got wires and stuff running in here and I can't access in there, really I need to cut out a spot, rebuild from the inside, structure all the way down, and then plate this back up again. That's the way I should be doing it, really. In fact, maybe I should sit there and think about this for a little bit, because that's really what I should be doing. If I can unhook these wires and get them out of there, really, that's what I should be doing, is taking the plasma cutter, cut open a hole here, and then build the inside of this to weld to that, and then plate it again. Yeah, let's just weld this up. You guys knew I was gonna do that anyways. Why did I even talk about that? Let's just do it. I guess we're ready to put the tank back on. We'll leave the original rubber the mats on here. Since I got that bent down, we should be good there. Just filling the tanks up with air so we don't have to run the engine air as long. And pray that we didn't short any of this crazy amount of electronics out by welding. When I say we, I mean I. I had it all disconnected, should be okay. Is that enough air? I think so. Hey, we got lights. That relay works, that's good. Except for, I must have wired wrong. They should be on right now. That's on, that's good. Start them up. That's a good sign. Back on, don't have the straps on it, that's okay. I still got stuff to do to this thing, plumbing and whatnot, but I'll be taking off for a few days, so I'll put this on hold. Leg Arms will take over. And Dad, come here, so I'll go park it. That's gonna be hard to look at for a season, I don't know. We'll see if I get to trying to get a new window slab put in here, but that is a bummer. Man, that is too bad. It's not, If it could have been centered, it would have been bullseye, but we're not even off. Whatever. Got the brew back in the shop. Time to start putting things back together. For one, we got the hydraulic pump. It came. The old one was toast. This is the new one. They basically said the old one was obsolete. They don't make them anymore. And two, not only that, they were baffled. They were like, did you get water in your hydraulic system? There's rust inside that pump and the slosh plates. Just unusual. They said they'd never seen anything like it before. I don't know. We're like, we never submerged this thing in water. I mean, I have ran through some pretty good lakes, but not in the hydraulic system. So what we've come to the conclusion was, because this used to be a fertilizer spreader, a Case IH Titan 4375, 2001, did a lot of years out there spreading fertilizer, urea. And that fertilizer dust, we think, worked its way inside the hydraulic tank and got in the hydraulic fluid, and that corroded and ate the pump up, and that's what was causing all of our crazy weird problems with pressures and temperatures and just odd stuff. So, new pump, fresh start. We're gonna put new oil in too. We did when we rebuilt it, but we're gonna redo it again. It might as well a good time to drop the oil, put all new oil in it. I'm actually doing this right now too. I know it's not perfectly at the bottom. I'm gonna put new planetary oil. I think we run 85 140 in these, synthetic is what we've been doing. So it's pretty dark. It was due. I mean, it's been it's been 7, 8 years. I don't know. It's been enough. It was time. I should have probably did this earlier. So getting that done. Got to put the straps for the tank to hold the tank down. Got to hook all the plumbing back up. A couple other odds and ends with this sprayer, and then it should be pretty much field ready. Minus just getting the nozzles ready. So, anyways, let's get to it. Another thing I wanted to check was the front wheel bearings on these steer wheels, the front steering wheels. I don't know. It's not an oil bath. It's grease. Grease is good, but I mean this sprayer will do 50 miles an hour. Not that I always run it at that. I try to keep it down a little bit, but I have a friend that runs similar rigs to these, and he converted them all to oil bath, put new seals in, and I would just hate to have a wheel come apart going down the road. So I'm just gonna jack this up, spin the wheel, listen carefully, put a spud bar or something under here and try to rock it back and forth and see if I can see if there's any play in these front wheels. If they feel tight, grease them, and we'll just keep going. But if I feel something I don't like, then I'm gonna jump in and investigate, because that'd be a bad day if one of these came off while going down the road, full load. No, don't want that. Just a little bit of play in there. Probably better see from your guys' angle. Maybe I'll have to get someone else here to watch it while I do that. Doesn't feel bad. So it spins really nice. No sound, no ticking, no clunking or any weird sound. So I think the side's probably fine. All right, those front wheels look good. They seem tight to me, so greased them again. Next step is the output shaft seal on this Allison 3000 series transmission. It's been leaking a while. It makes a mess back here. Just splatters oil into the whole back of the truck, and I just haven't done it yet. This should be the right seal. It looks big in my hand here, but it's hard to say. It looks big, but when I get in there, I bet it'll be the right one. If not, I'll be making some parts store runs, but we'll get to that. So I guess let's take the drive shaft off and get the yoke off and start getting that seal out. All right, yoke is off. Here's the yoke. So here's the first question we have. Do we need a speedy sleeve? Let's take a look. That's the seals in writing. Honestly, that's pretty good. That's not bad. There is a little groove there, but I might be able to put the seal in either not as deep or deeper, if that makes sense, and that'll make it right on a new spot. We'll see what leg arms thinks, but we'll clean this up. I'll have them wash it up. That's interesting.
I did a double decker and he didn't like that. I gotta clean up my mess.
We talked about not doing double deckers anymore with leg irons.
But it was, I couldn't help myself. It was like,
You don't double deck a toilet. Gross. Wash that. Before I go taking this seal out and damaging it, because I'm probably gonna damage it, I'm gonna see if I get some numbers off of it, in case I happen to be lucky and hit the spot where the numbers are, and then I can't figure it out. Looks like it's a national. There's it right there. 295156690. 295-41736. But this isn't a national. This is an Allison Genuine Parts. That's a national. So the part number's probably not going to be the same. I guess probably not taking this back. So let's put it on there and see what happens. Oh yeah. I think that's the one. Is this a national? This is a national. But it is a different number actually. 295-41736. 295-15690. It might be a little bit, I think it is too. Oh, it's so close. I think the inner diameter of this might be a little tighter than this one. Well, we'll find out in a minute here. Well, that was, whoop, there's some oil. No. Stop. Let me get a pan. All right. I think it's just a little bit that pulled against that seal there. I don't think it's gonna just run out, but just to be safe. There we go, yeah, it's just what was pulled against that seal. Okay, all right, we got it. All right, from the research I've done, it looks like this is definitely a genuine Allison seal, national branded. This is just an obsolete number. So the same seal, just older number, newer number. So that's good to know. This should be good. So let's put this one in, put her back together again, and put a little oil in it, and no more leaks. Should have did this 10 years ago. Yeah, that's what we like to do. I'm gonna put the number on the top so I can read it next time. Now, like I said earlier, I'm gonna let it sit out just a little bit, and I won't put it in flush, because my goal is I want it to wear on a different spot on that yoke. An O-ring right there. I'll have to make sure I don't lose that. I think that's pretty good. Okay, cool. What we got going on here is we're gonna clean up the yoke. So he found a CO2 canister, and it fit inside the yoke because the yoke didn't chuck up into the chuck very well. So we've got the live center, got some tension on it, and he's just using a piece of emery cloth. And then when he's ready, I just engage it like this. We're cleaning any burrs off it, anything that might catch that seal and damage it. So just want to give it a nice shine. Got some sandpaper at first, now we're doing emery cloth. There we go. Yeah, that's really nice. Much smoother. Still can see the two grooves where the dust and the oil seal ran. But like I said, I offset that seal just a little bit inside of the transmission, so it should ride on a new spot. And we clean up any burrs that might happen to catch that seal and twist it, so this should be good. Let's see, let me grab a little bit of oil. Smear it around on this thing, smear the seal up. Oh yeah, slid right in nice. Okay. Here we go. New seal and yoke are in. There we go. We're back on. So like I said, check the oil in the transmission and go from there. I don't think I want that there anymore. Now I just gotta hook some plumbing up to the tank, a couple of odds and ends hoses, and then the big job, putting that hydraulic pump back in there. That's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a two-man job for that one. I'll show you some progress on Big Brute here. First thing, new pump's installed. That's awesome. Good there. I'm redoing a little of my plumbing here. Originally, input was here to fill the tank. That kind of went over and dropped down. We had a 2-inch down here. I decided what I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna plumb it so 3-inch comes out of the bottom of the tank, next down to 2-inch before it goes into the pump. Well, actually, next down even smaller than that, 1.25 inch, I think. But then there'll be a 3-inch fill here. Reason is, it used to be way up here. I didn't like it when I had last year. It would splatter all over, got on me. I'm gonna get this down low to the ground. That way when I open it, it drops to the ground here and not over me. And then also that heavy, big 3-inch line doesn't have to go way up to hook on here. A lot easier to put on, cam lock it on. Also, the nipple, and this is a 2-inch, but the 3-inch version on the valve I had, it was part of the valve and it was wearing out. Every time you cam lock that baby, the cam lock, it was wearing the plastic out. And you have to buy a whole new valve, which are expensive. So what I'm doing is I'm getting this, what do they call these, flat face clamp ends. Anyways, I'm getting a male cam lock end like this with the flat face that'll then attach to a valve here. So that way you can just buy a $12 new nipple for the male cam lock and replace it as you wear it out. So that'll all be right there. The parts are coming, haven't had that done yet. Changed the oil in the planetaries, changed the rear main seal, obviously, that's all done on the, or sorry, rear main seal, the output shaft seal on the Allison. I've got a couple things to button up over here. And then we drained all the hydraulic oil out of this thing, and it hasn't been changed since we first did it. I think we used some pretty cheap oil when we did it. Put a new hydraulic filter in, and Leg Arms is making a new cap vent for this because it was missing and we had a weird makeshift hose we used. And I'm just gonna fill this up to just above the low level alarm because we don't need like 50 gallons of hydraulic oil in this sprayer. It's only got 2 pumps, steering pump and water pump, so we don't need all that. So just enough to keep the alarm from going off. It'll still stay cool. So I guess where I'm at now is put oil in this thing, and then I guess we're about ready to send this out the door. Got to put straps in the tank. There's still more to do to the sprayer, but until parts show up, and then we're gonna bring probably the 700 bud in here and start doing hydraulics on that. So getting closer, getting ready. It's getting a little late today. I've been at the shop a long day, but you know what? Made good progress on this piece. So I just want to show you guys a couple things. First up, see, as you can see, 3-inch plumbed. They used to be 2-inch here. Now it's all 3-inch. Up directly into the tank, and then I moved the 2-inch up here because the 2-inch doesn't get used nearly as much. So that'll work a lot nicer. That meant shifting the pump forward. Had to build some new brackets to readjust all that. Then on top of that, built some steps here. So that way when I'm filling or dumping jugs directly into the tank, I can step on this. Because before, I used the handle right there to put my foot on, and it was, well, for lack of words, kind of sketchy because that's a long ways down. Doesn't look like it, but it is. So now I've got some nice, sturdy steps that I can step on when I'm up here doing this. I also took the cab off, cleaned up the top of this AC system. One of the big problems with Big Brute was it didn't have a very good filtration system for the air. It was all rusted out, the housing around the air filter, and they just don't make these kind of hoods anymore. You can't just buy a new cap. They just don't exist. So we tried to patch up as good as we could, but the cab just kept getting so dusty, as well as the carbon filter that I had just wasn't doing a great job because air was getting around it. It used to be right there, but you can see we capped it. So what I decided to do, instead of trying to reuse that system because it wasn't working, I don't like spraying chemicals and having fumes in here, so we blocked everything off. So now the cab just recircs. Instead of pulling outside air all the time, it just recirculates the air inside. I'm in and out of the cab every hour or so, so I don't have to worry about carbon monoxide or low oxygen levels, but that way, it's not sucking dust and dirt from the outside of the cab. And I am researching some cab pressurizing fans that have carbon filters built into them. So that's on the to-do list eventually here when I come to the right one. But with that, that's how we're at. So I think that'll really help a lot of things. The other thing I just noticed too is, well, it's having a hard time starting, and well, I think it's the starter. So we're gonna put a new starter on it tomorrow. But with that, those are some of the main things. There's one last piece back here besides the hydraulic pump, and it's I stripped all the old ball valves off the back of this thing. Used to be a 5-section boom, or is a 5-section boom. They were all right there. As you can see, there's a hose coming off. I tore them all off because with the weeded system being a solenoid system, NCV I think they call it, I don't need ball valves rotating anymore when I go through section. I don't need sectional control. It's all electronic now. I just need a manifold to distribute the flow to all the sections of the boom. So that's coming off too. And then I'll have one main control master valve that'll be there so I can turn the boom on and off in case for some reason the solenoids are leaking or whatever. So anyways, there we go. Thanks for watching this video, guys. God bless. We'll catch you in the next one. A lot's gonna be happening really fast here. I say that a lot, but it's true. I didn't let you guys down. Remember, we built a tractor. I said a lot was gonna happen and we did that, so there'll be stuff happening here. It's gonna be fun. All right, take care. See ya.